Boom, we're live. Post Zero. Sup, everybody. The truth about affording your hobbies. Spoiler alert, you won't. You will go bankrupt. You will take out mortgages and you will live a miserable life. But at least you will have your drum set, your guitar, your PlayStation, your Nintendo, your Legos, your Warhammer, and your other video games. But hey,
All right. Yep.
good
That's it.
distraction from the crippling debt. We've
In
got
stream.
end the stream, yeah.
That's
We've
it. Bye.
We've got Dave from the Scarred Thumb podcast again. Thank you very much for joining us, Dave.
Hello.
Now, in my humble opinion, just now a member here. So if you're fine with that, we've got
All
Gov,
right.
a connoisseur of hobbies as well, and we've got Dante the Panda, who came up with the topic. You kind of phrased it differently at first. Like, where do you go first? Do you go to making money and then explore your interests, or do you explore interests and then go to making money? Which, no honesty, is actually pretty interesting, and I was hoping to get more into that today. So, Dante, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, because the way I did it is I had some money, but not a lot. And what I did with that was what I did was I spent on any hobby that came my way, and just like I needed to know if I liked something or not, and I did a bunch of things. So even if it was expensive, I took a risk. I bought some stuff just so I could test it, and did that for a bunch of hobbies for quite a while.
Knowing
6
you are
months.
from the Philippines, this is such
Oh
a
yeah,
deep meaning.
yeah, dude. That's not even a joke. Like, things are expensive here. So like trying to get a hobby is quite difficult. So yeah, I spent a bunch, 6 months, learned what I wanted, what I didn't want, and then I realized how much money I needed to make. And that was when I decided, okay, here's what my finances need to look like if I want to have these hobbies. That's how I went about it. I started with figuring out what hobbies I wanted to engage in first, and then figured out how much that would cost, and then increased my income to that. I don't know how everybody else on the panel would do it, but that's how I did it. And the audience,
So is a motivation for you to earn more money?
yeah, that's how I think about it for me.
Dave, you want to go into that?
No. I think that is kind of an interesting thing. I mean, sometimes that is like the sort of carrot you need to do some work, and a lot of times, like, oh, like when I'm working at the job, I'm tired. It's like, maybe I don't want to work, a little extra, but then I'm like, I'll think to myself, like, especially even like when I'm spending too, like $50, I'm like, and then I'm always like thinking, well, now it's not video games, but I'm always like, hey, $50, that's a video game. Like, I could get that. Or like, I'm spending $50 on something I don't need. Like, whoa, I could buy a video game instead. It's kind of a weird thing to think, but sometimes, it kind of helps in that, as far as like things that I really want versus things I don't actually want or actually need.
I remember when I was a kid and I just got into drumming. So my dad bought me my first drum kit. And the drum kit itself, the hardware wasn't that bad. And it was perfectly fine. But then you get to like the cymbals and things like that. And cheap cymbals for a drum kit are absolute garbage. They truly sound like tin. It is absolutely horrible. And I wanted better cymbals. I wanted Zildjian A series. I wanted those. I needed those. But I still went to like school and things like that. So I got a summer job, not to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be strong and independent. No. I'm like, I'm going to get a summer job to buy cymbals. And I was such a brat when I was younger. I remember. So I worked for like a couple of weeks and I calculated it through to buy a new 15-inch hi-hat. And as soon as the day came that would completely fine as that hi-hat. I was like, well, last day, didn't do jack fuck all shit. Just put my hours in, got paid, got the hi-hat. It's like, okay, now we can go back to drumming. Fortunately, I became an adult of some sorts later on. But yeah, drumming for me was a big reason to start those summer jobs, to get actually good gear for that drum kit. How about you, Gov?
Shoot, if I don't make a budget for myself, I'll end up spending all my money on my hobby. Rhythm games, especially. When I go to arcades, I could spend over $100 playing it. So, like this weekend, I had to go. I went out to Dallas, went to see my best friend up there, and there's what I call rhythm game heaven up there. And they got my DDR, they got Guitar Hero, they got one called Beat Mania, where it's like you're doing a DJ machine, and it's a lot of fun. And I could have easily spent a whole lot of money, but instead, what I did is to keep myself from going flat broke. I said, I'm gonna just make I'm not gonna spend any more than X and Y, and that's how I had to handle it. Otherwise, yeah, it's not an addiction. I won't say that, but
Did you suck dick for your hobby?
Yes, that's to break up. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. But in all honesty, though, it's a lot more affordable to play it there at an arcade than buying a machine for thousands of dollars, which I would love to do. But
I mean, that's
it's okay. I think about it like the way that I think Aaron Clary said it one time. I don't need to have something at my place if a store can have it. It's called the store for a reason. That arcade is like a store for the stuff that I want. They can have it, and I'll just play it there.
I mean, maybe we'll get into that later, but depending on what your hobbies are, you would have to adapt to that with your living space as well. Because like a DDR machine in your house.
Dude, that's the thing I was thinking about. I was like, I would not be able to fit that in here. And my friend's got one, or at least he's got the dance pads, and yeah, they take up a lot of space and they're pretty heavy duty. But yeah, I was like, dude, it's cool to have, but that's just a lot to move around. And so that's just one of the many hobbies I think about, though, too. I mean, there's always collecting too, things like this. This doesn't take up any room, so I'm not worried about any of that. But affordability, yeah, I don't go out of my way and buy things that are over $100 or something like that if I can't do it at the moment. But yeah.
Sup, Nuke? How you feeling?
I feel better. Thanks, guys. I'm at like 75%, but I'll be fine.
Okay.
He looks
Good
alive,
to have
yeah.
He is still alive.
Yeah, I drank milk of magnesia last night, and it's a very miraculous substance. That's all I got to say about that.
You didn't drink the whole bottle, right?
No, just 45 milliliters of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
25 milliliters.
I wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be in the hospital if that happened.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Please, no. I'm glad you're all right. So what we were talking about, Dante brought up, did you let your hobbies dictate your finances, or did you let your finances dictate your hobbies? So as in, were your interests enough motivation for you to earn more, kind of thing? And depending on what your hobbies are, that could be a big issue. So yeah, how did that go for you? Like when you were younger, did you get certain interest in maybe like piano and things like that? And at a certain point you were like, oh damn, I want to get better at this. I want to have better equipment for this. I better make some money. Or like, because you went into the Navy and things like that, or was the case for you, hey, I'm starting to make money, but all I have is work. Maybe I need something to do besides work.
Well, I'm going to say, like my parents say, I think a guy's biggest issue with hobbies is that they have too many. So they have so many, they can't even enjoy one. Right. So like, for example, you get a PS5 and then you get 6 games. You don't have time to play them. They're just sitting there. You should have just waited throughout the year, or just played one game at a time, or bought something one at a time, enjoy it fully. or 2 at a time, and then you're able to save money and also really enjoy your hobbies. You see this a lot in the musician community. There's people that buy lots of guitars, lots of different music equipment, and they just, you know, they just hang them up. You know, this isn't a shout out to Rolo. I'm pretty sure Rolo plays his guitars, but
Yeah.
I've had friends
with
I've had
guitar
friends that
players
buy-
as well. They have it in
Yeah.
different tuning.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But a lot back in the day, a lot of my friends that were guitarists or musicians, they would buy a lot of little accessories and stuff like that, and a lot of little different guitars and all that. And it's just like, dude, like I see you post more stuff about the stuff you buy for your guitars and guitars than you actually playing and like uploading songs and stuff. So, you know, it all depends on. I think the ultimate way to save money on a hobby is to choose your 2 favorite ones, right? And just make sure that you're not like delving into all these hobbies but not having any time to fully enjoy any of them, right? And then you can drop a hobby for a while and then come back, right? Like maybe you found you're into anime for like 6 months and you just nothing but anime, that's all you watch, and you're having a good time, you go to the cons, whatever, and you're just like, I need a break. And then you start watching, now you're into World War II stuff, now you're watching World War II stuff, and you collect World War II player or whatever you're into, and then you go back to anime or back and forth, right? So basically just have less stuff that you're collecting, doing at once, and enjoy the little the hobbies that you can, right? Yeah, that's how I would save money. As you get older, you think you get a little busier and you have to, but as a young guy, you kind of you're scatterbrained, you want to do 100 things at once. I'm like, no, dude, what are your 2 favorite hobbies? Focus on those, and if you just so happen to have time for others, go do them. But if you like shooting, then shoot. If you like fishing, then fish. If you like anime, then anime. If you like this, and then do that, and then let the other things just kind of like float around, and then maybe you switch hobbies at some point. So yeah.
Well, you bring up a good point where it's like, are you doing it for the hobby or are you completely going in it for collection? And a good example of this, this because like hobbies can get dark. And we talked about that a while back, didn't we? The darker sides of hobbies. I did a show with Rob and Phil Henry about this as well. Because Phil Henry goes to like game cons and things like that, and they have like they've got Pokemon card collectors there as well. But it is insane the amount of thievery that goes on there. It is absolutely insane. But okay,
thievery.
Yeah,
thievery.
Yeah, it's like some people you better not show online what your collection is, because they will
shit.
Yeah, they will look you up. They will try to find your home address and they'll just
holy
it
fuck.
out. He's been there because he works in security as well. He's seen it.
We gotta protect Robert. Robert, do you have a security detail?
Dude, have you seen Robert? The man is 6'5" and built like a tank.
He's 6'5". Jesus Christ. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. I don't know if he's 6'5", but he is tall. He is tall.
Yeah. Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Exactly. He has a sword. More than one, by the way. But okay, so as you might know, and I've been pretty secretive about this, but guys, I don't want you to laugh at me.
Yeah. I know it. I know, dude. It's okay. Love is love.
Me too.
You know?
So I have bought
sex with men.
No, no.
$20.
I sometimes buy a Lego set. I know it's shocking. I know it's the first time I admit to this. Apologies. It's not very masculine, but you know what? It's stress relieving. I like it. But you have. And I only do it from like medieval things and pirates. I think it's cool. Fuck you. But there are certain like Lego YouTubers. They buy every set that's being released. All of them. Like, doesn't matter which category. Doesn't matter the price. Doesn't matter at all. And the way they stack them, they have these closets and they just put sets in front of each other. Kind of thing. They all push it together as long as they have every set ever made. And that kind of comes back to Nuke's point where he mentioned, can you even enjoy the hobby anymore? Or are you not even enjoying the one thing you have?
Yeah, that was the point that I was going to bring up too, is that I used to be the king of jumping from one hobby to the other. I think I probably had like 15, 20 different hobbies, and I had to break it down because I can't master something if I keep changing my focus too. That's the other thing. If you don't focus on one thing, at least for a little bit, and get some practice in on something or some kind of control over that thing, then, you know, you end up jumping from one thing to the other and just saying, no, I know a little bit about this or that thing. But yeah, I had to break it down to, like I said, rhythm gaming, anime, manga collection, and then astronomy research too. I've been watching a lot of stuff on space lately, hours worth of stuff, and I'm like, you know what, this is my thing right now, so I'm sitting and doing that. So as long as you got a rotation of something to keep you occupied, that's not going to break your bank from having 20 different hobbies at one time, then I think, you know, you're all right.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
also another thing is space. Sorry,
yeah.
Space is a big thing. Like I can't collect a lot of stuff because I don't have that much space. I mean, my apartment's like 850 square feet, right? But still, like, there's people that if you are going to be a collector, you're going to have space. So you're probably going to have to buy a home, and that home is probably going to have a designated area for your collections and all that stuff too. And also, if you're going to collect stuff, you got to maintain the stuff you collect. You got to dust it. You have to, you know, organize it, right? You have to, maybe one day you want to color code it or something, whatever. It takes effort, right? Like, it's nothing worse than seeing someone that collects stuff and it's just all strewn about their house, or just like, not like, hey dude, are you collecting, or are you just putting stuff in a box, you know?
God damn it, Marty.
That's nice. That's a good one.
Sorry. God damn it. My girl likes astrology. She told me she needs space. God fucking damn it. Sorry about that. Got distracted by Marty. God damn it. Oh, and real quick, now that I'm in the chat anyway, Nonstop Dre member for 31 months. Thank you very much for the support. Tradcons. Oh, here we go. Our favorite group of people. Tradcons. Real men don't need hobbies like Legos, Gundams, or video games. Your hobby should be getting married and letting the wife spend all your money. Dude, I've met people, a drummer as well, and he had a separate bank account for his drumming stuff. Otherwise, his wife would find out. Kill me now.
I had those guys all the time come in when I was working at a store selling fishing equipment. It's like, oh, I really like this, but I better check with the wife first. Or like, so call like, oh, I better check with the boss first. You know exactly what that means. It's so sad to see.
It is. And maybe that's the truth about affording your hobbies. You won't be able to afford a wife. So that's a win.
Yeah.
But Dave, how do you go about that? Nuke mentioned a very good point about the video games where it's like finish one, then go to the next. Or would you approach the video games more as a collector perspective? Or is it more that you divide it by console where it's like, oh, this new game comes out for PS5, but this new game comes out for Switch, and that new game comes out for PC, and I buy them all three at once so I have some variety with the playing?
Yeah, I usually, unless like they're on sale, like Steam. Unfortunately, Steam has a pretty evil with their Steam sales, and like, I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff like good sales, and then I end up buying too many there, and like I got like 5 games that I never freaking play, but like, it's only $5. So in my mind, that's like how I justify it. But thankfully, usually once I get into something, I have a personality. Once I get into something, like I usually just play it, nothing but it. So I just only has a bandwidth for maybe 1, maybe 2 games at a time. So thankfully, I just do that, and then once I'm done, I move on to another thing. And that's usually just how my personality works. So thankfully, that's just that. I mean, I have met some people that were like really, really into like even stuff like make shoes, but like they wanted to flip the shoes, but they were also in like stocks. They were in like a million different things. And then once you get into those different hobbies, you just end up spending so much money. and like they're almost, it's not like even like they're not even really into the hobby, they just like that sort of dopamine hit of buying something. They're almost like addicted to it. Like I mean, obviously it feels good to buy something new. There is that kind of like feeling like, ooh, this is great. Oh, a brand new game. Like really like it. But if you become too, and like maybe like sometimes like I've noticed, certain times like when I'm depressed or, things aren't going my way, like I get a lot more, susceptible to that. Like I want that feeling. So that there might be some other underlying issues, but that might be too much of a bag of worms to get into. But it can be that.
I mean, for some guys, their hobby does consume their life. Where I made the joke about going into depth in the beginning, but there are people who actually do it, like those Lego collectors I mentioned. They have like rooms full only because like they want to have the latest set. And do they actually do anything with it? Do they actually fully display it? No, they put it in the closet and now they can say they have it, and that's it, and that's done. But the money's gone. The pleasure about it's gone. And then what? Like, you still need to buy food. You still need to buy shelter. You still need to buy clothing. It's like credit card debts are going to run up.
Yeah, that's the point that I was kind of addressing earlier about mine, is that I want to make sure it doesn't become an addiction of sorts where it's like you're just doing it just because, you feel like you have to at some point because your mind's telling you that this is the thing that I didn't, or this is my personality now, or this is how I identify as this collector or this player of this thing, and I must have the next thing in that to impress myself or others around me.
Yeah. Well, that becomes a thing too, like impress others that don't even care.
Yeah, there's definitely a public element to that where like once you get into like these communities where you have to it's like kind of keep up with it. Like everyone's talking about the new thing. Well, I gotta join in and get the new thing too, or I'm just gonna be left out. And that can become really dangerous once you involve it with something you already like. And it's the same with like when you get something like Magic the Gathering. You got the new set always comes out every few months, so you have to constantly keep up with it. And you mentioned Lego. This new product comes out. I want the new product. I want to talk about the new product. Even everyone else is talking about the new product, and it almost becomes consumerism rather than taking time and enjoying the hobby.
Women do this too, right? Like this is fashion. Basically, fashion.
Stanley Cups right now. I got my Stanley Cup.
Every 3 months, it's some new skirt or some new blouse, or like new color, or like some new trend. 1 year it's loose pants. 1 year it's tight.
Me, who buys the same shirt in 5 different colors.
Right? It's so easy to get caught up, and then you don't realize that you don't have taste. You don't know what you like. You don't know what what you don't like. You don't know what suits you. You don't know what stuff is about, and you're just going along to get with the crowd. And it's sad because you spend a lot of money, and it's not even according to something you're inclined to do anyway. So it's
yeah, and also say be careful with like subscriptions too, right? Because
good one.
You might subscribe to a lot of different things but never use them, right? Like let's say you're not that into anime, but you saw one that you liked and you subscribe to Crunchyroll, and now you're paying $40, $35 a month for like a year because you forgot to cancel subscription. Same thing with like PlayStation. Maybe you just downloaded or bought a PlayStation to play 1 or 2 games and you don't need the subscription. But you bought it because you're like, oh yeah, I want this too, and then you end up, these things stack, and then eventually you're paying like $200, $300 a month on stuff that you don't even use. So, and that's the point, right? Like, oh, if you're really a loyal customer, and if you really like this franchise, like Final Fantasy or anime or whatever thing, then you also get the subscription, because if you get the subscription, then you get this plushie. Why don't you want the plushie? And you're just like, it's only $10 a month, and you've said that 5 times this month, and now you're spending like $200 on things you don't even use. So be careful with that, guys. It's your money. You want to save as much as you can. You don't want to give it away for free.
Oh yeah, no, pretty much. But then you get to the super fan phenomenon where people will buy it anyway, and you see with you see a lot. You see a lot with that with Marvel right now, where it's like, oh, you're a Marvel fan, right? You must consume. Here's next product. Consume next product. There's a lot of that going on in that too. But these companies don't really care that you're loyal to them. They only care about your money. And that's what a lot of people need to figure out as well, where it's like, no, it's not the Marvel family, you know, it's not the DC family. It's like you are a consumer who is parting with their money. And that's kind of it. And we kind of go into collecting and things like that right now, but there are also hobbies that can actually benefit your self-development, like sports, be it kickboxing, be it jiu-jitsu, be it golfing, whatever. Is bodybuilding a hobby? Bodybuilding can be a hobby, could be a bit extreme, but even in there, you can lose yourself, and what could cost you that? That, in certain cases, could cost you your health.
Your life, man. Your
In
life.
some cases, yeah, like go to a doctor or whatever before you put anything into your body, you know, or just don't.
Take a break from the caffeine too. Every 6 weeks, get off that shit, because you're most likely taking pre-workout, and you're most likely been redlining your body during the last 2 weeks because
That-
of. And if you don't quit at least once in a while, your body's not, you know, that adenosine is gonna build up, and the minute you don't have that pre-workout, you're gonna be suboptimal for like the whole day.
That might be my most controversial opinion about fitness, is that pre-workout is garbage. But that's me. I'm not like, I'm kind of being tongue in cheek here, being generalizing. But in my humble opinion, just take a cup of black coffee and be done with it.
That's what I've done.
But Nuke brings up a good point, because like in the hobby of fitness and bodybuilding, you do see a lot of that going on, where it's like, well, you go to the gym, right? You need to wear Gymshark. And you go to the gym, right? You need to have this supplement and this one and this one and your pre-workout and your creatine.
It's
and
the FOMO. Yeah,
it's
FOMO.
the FOMO of everything that drags these people into more consumerism, which the whole point of having the hobby as the gym is going to the gym and doing the thing.
I mean, we're all susceptible to marketing, and I mean, it's human, but there's a difference between buying one pair of Gymshark pants that you'll use like every 6 months or every year, because they're good quality. You don't have to buy a lot. You could just buy 2 and they'll be good. And then there's a difference between going on all Gymshark or all Nike, you know, decked out. And again, it's like that whole, you spend all this money on your hobby and on all accessories for your hobby, but are you a good piano player? Are you a good guitarist? Are you a strong body? Like, are you strong in the gym? Are you got all these bells and whistles for your PC setup, right? But are you good at the games you're playing, right? Are you good at Battlefield, Fortnite? Like, you know, people will get the craziest mouses and keyboards because, and the latency and all that, they'll be calculating all these weird numbers about, and saying, hey, I got the fastest mouse in the industry, but you know, you're not, dude, you don't really play that much, right? Like, why do you need that? It's more to do with your need to fit in and that FOMO and to get that social proof from consuming than it is the enjoyment of what you're doing. So just enjoy it. Don't worry. And if you get to the point where like, hey, I'm getting good enough where I can justify getting a new mouse, or I'm getting good enough where I could justify upgrading my piano, right? Like, if you're starting out playing piano, don't get a $800 piano, like, or $901 like I got behind me. Get a $100 cheap one, right? Mess around with it, you know, fuck around. It might break, who cares? And then after you decided, hey, I actually like this, then get a $300 one and then mess around with that. Get good, learn some more classical music. And then once you're good enough with that, then you just keep upgrading. And then one day when you're 50 and old and got a lot of money and divorced and they took the kids, right? Then you can be like, I'm going to get myself a full-on grand piano. I got nothing left in life. That's what I'm going to do. Not that that's my plan or anything, but I'm just saying.
No. Don't worry. Don't worry, ladies. He's not going to divorce you, and you're not going to take his kids.
Yeah. It's like people want the social signals more than the actual function of the thing they're buying. That was, again, a big thing for like fishing equipment, where all the guys would go down to the pier. A lot of them had these ridiculous $1,000 setups, you know, even like a $200 like rod and reel combo. Well, maybe a $200-300, really good, high quality, but they wanted like the $1,000 stuff. They wanted like the the high quality stuff, but not necessarily needed. It was more about signaling to their friends and the other people on the pier that, I mean, one, that they have money. You'll see with the cars and all that this other stuff too, but they wanted those sort of things. And again, once you get used to like those social signals and the peer pressure, you can end up spending a lot more than you really need to. And it's not necessarily about enjoying it either.
No. And like you both bring up a good point where it's like when you start out with music instruments, first actually experience if you enjoy the instrument. Like I could have bought a, I don't know, $2,000 drum kit immediately off the bat, but I didn't know how to play yet. I didn't know if I actually enjoyed it. Spoiler alert, I did. But what if I didn't? And the same with guitars. Like you can buy $1,000 guitar right away, but like if you get bored after learning the chords, then what? Okay, maybe you can sell it, but you can never sell it for the price you bought it for. Just start out cheap, actually learn the instrument and go from there. Buy to your level, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like beginner, intermediate,
very important.
Yeah, beginner, intermediate, expert. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose money on things. I knew one guy who bought a guitar once, like $800. Oh, it just looks nice on the wall. It's like, okay.
And there are signs that you enjoy your hobbies that you need to pay attention. Like for example, let's say Super Smash Brothers. You like playing that, right? It's a cult game. It's very fun. It's a very deep, complex game, right? A fighter. So let's say you play it and you're just like, oh, this is fun. And then a month later, you're looking up strategies on how to be a better fighter with a certain character. And then next month, you're looking at like frame rate and like how many frames does it take? Like then you can start like, wait, I really like this shit. Like this is my hobby. I'm going to play Super Smash Brothers. Then you can start investing in better controllers, right? But just look at your habits when you're doing stuff. Are you really into it, or are you just, if you're learning an instrument, are you like every day you wake up in the morning groggy? Are you like messing around on the keys and then you make some melody, right? Are you looking up songs that would sound good? Are you playing to your level, right? So another thing with musicians is that they what happens is, and this is all hobbies, where it's there's skill levels to certain hobbies, right? Like for video games is very concrete, there's ranked and all that. And for how that translates into the music world is the difficulty of the pieces you play, right? So you can play for Elise probably in a month, right? A lot of guys can't believe that, but you could probably play it really nicely in a month if you practice every day, right? But you're not going to be able to play the more complicated stuff right away. So why are you buying that sheet music? Why are you challenging yourself with that harder stuff, right? Why are you playing Call of Duty at a certain level? Why are you playing hard mode on a video game? You're going to be more angry than you are enjoying it. So just play to your level. And as time goes on, you can justify buying more accessories for the level you're at, because you justify like you actually care about what you're doing. And number two, you enjoy it more because you have nothing to prove to anyone, right? This is your hobby. It's right. And that's what the people that buy expensive things, they're trying to prove to other people, I like this, guys, look. And it's like, no, relax, dude. Like, we know you like it. You don't have to like scream at us.
It is my personality.
Exactly.
I mean, welcome to Twitter. Yeah. Welcome to Twitter. I am married. I'm a married man. My identity is married. Like what? Like
I'm a father.
I am a father.
That's the thing.
I'm this race. I'm not this race.
We know, okay, dude. That's why you're here. We needed the diversity.
You're the diversity hire. Yeah.
I thought Arch was. Arch is our ultimate immunity.
Oh yeah,
that is true. That is true. We've got Arch here. That is true. But just in case, we got you and Mish. Just in case.
This brings up something interesting I was talking about yesterday too, about people trying to make stuff into their personality, and that could be anything. Yeah, it's like I basically brought up the point that they're the vegans of that world, whatever, like TradCons, they could be the vegans of the dating world or something. They have to announce what they are, and then they have to say why what they are is so important, and then they act like the know-it-alls of the entire group. And there's people like that in every group. There's always got to be that one guy that's got to say, my personality defines, or my thing defines who I am, rather than, who I am happens to include this or that thing.
No, you're right. Let me get to the super chats real quick because Dre's been at it. Nonstop Dre for the $2. Thank you very much, Dre. Jack's hobbies are begging nines and tens and Pal World in that order. Jesus. Nonstop Dre again for the $2. Thank you very much. My hobbies are gym, video games, and learning skills. Not bad hobbies to have. Like a hobby could be improving yourself. Can really be. Although can go too far where you get into like the church of self-development, where everything you do is just a dopamine hit.
Yeah, if you have an infrared light in your closet to sun yourself, you might have gone too far.
You might. Let's see. Another Nonstop Dre for $2. Man can have a life or a wife. Coach Greg Adams. I need to think about it. That's CGA. Yeah, Coach Greg Adams, right? I think they can have both, but I mean, guys love to shoot themselves in the foot. Like they don't dare to say, like, "Hey, honey, I'm buying this for myself." What about? I don't care.
Yeah.
My opinion is this is total bullshit. So look, a lot of people enter marriages not really knowing the girl and not really know who they are. And so what happens is that the girl starts to, you have that death by 1,000 concessions type thing. And that's what happens. That's why a lot of guys will say, hey, you can't have an LTR and your own interests or hobbies, or you can't hang out with the guys. And well, that's simply not true. There's a way to, have some self-respect and some boundaries. They'll still give you a life you want, with the people in life that you care about. Mm-hmm. So I think it's still bullshit. But yeah.
So yeah, you can, but I've seen plenty of people that don't, where they unfortunately end up in that situation where the wife dominates their time.
Yeah.
And then the meme becomes reality, where it's like, oh, you can't lose weight that way, or like it runs in the family kind of thing. You get that where they believe the lie, and then it becomes their reality. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's if you think like that, then of course you're not gonna have it, because happy wife, happy life. It's like, no, you can have your own life, even if you're married, and even if you have a girlfriend. It's like,
so this happens, but my response to something like this, men can have a life or a wife. No, not with that attitude.
I'm not with that attitude, mister.
Yeah.
Let's not even bring up kids.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of guys will blame their kids for not pursuing their hobbies. I've had that in Discord before, and it was like, dude, what the hell? You threw your kids under the bus. Like they didn't ask to be, born, to be cared for you, and yet here you are blaming them for your life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my good friend Traddy has like kids, and he still does his hobbies. Although, in all honesty, his wife and him have like the same hobbies, so that's pretty dope.
That helps.
In all honesty,
for sure.
Like they're both into Nintendo and everything, and they've got Nintendo displays everywhere. So of course the kids are gonna love that. Like, hey, yep, here you go.
That helps, but the point is like,
the only thing that didn't turn out okay was so Traddy loves like the pirate and medieval Legos as well, and his son loves Lego City. It's like, hey, how about this cool pirate ship? Oh, fire truck. It's like, yeah, man, kid's lost. Never mind. It's not gonna work.
Jack Story took over the convo. I know you're going through super chats, but I really don't like platitudes. So
no, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, man. I mean, I like it when you guys go off. I love that.
Yeah.
You still got to be financially responsible. You still got to be financially responsible if you're married. You can't just throw away money. Like if you have a kid, you have to, prioritize the kid's needs first, right? Hey, the kid needs a new stroller. Sorry, I bought a PS5. No stroller this month. Sorry.
Like Nuke. I thought the red pill didn't do in prescription. Sounds like a prescription to me.
Oh, this is common sense. Like Like
I can do what I want.
I'll you can Luke. I think we can reframe this into something that's a little bit more pointed.
Don't be
It's more so-
retarded. There we go.
That's one. But like
Well, the red pill
obviously,
told me to do what I want. So
Don't eat paint. It's your daily don't eat paint. Like
Yeah.
if you have kids or a wife or both, you kind of have to make sure they're financially okay. That doesn't mean spoil them or not spoil them. It just means hey, like the bill's got to be paid first before you go buy something crazy.
But the red pill told me to do what I want. So you know, what's this all about? What if I
If
want to
people-
eat paint? Tell
if
me
there are
what to
people
do.
you care about, obviously you have to look after them, right?
Yeah,
we're
but what
not
if I
telling-
don't want to?
We're not.
Ryan tells me to do what I want.
We're not telling you to disregard the people you care about because you suddenly enjoy painting.
Let
So-
it
just understand that like this is a whole life, and there are decisions to be made and trade-offs to be made. Not everything can be. You can't abandon everything to go lift or to become a power lifter.
Oh no!
You have a day job and like you have responsibilities, shit like that. So
Oh yeah, that's something a lot of people don't understand as well when they see the competitive bodybuilders or like the competitive powerlifters. 9 times out of 10, they are sponsored. They get the lifestyle sponsored for them. The food, the training equipment, the gym membership, everything, because it takes so much fucking time. Just the recovery alone is abysmal. But we'll get into the affording thing in a moment because I have a kind of like golden rule for it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Last super chat by Nonstop Dre, $2. Thank you again. What's Jack's favorite instrument? Supermodels. It's like they're often skinny.
Percussion? Is that percussion, woodwind? What kind of instrument is a supermodel?
All of the above.
All of the above. Although, like supermodels are often too flat on the surface, if you know what I mean. It's like no, there needs to be some
String instrument.
Like a percussion instrument. When you're spanking a girl, there's a certain kind of calibration you have to have when you spank a woman, right? If you spank like every woman's cheeks are different, but if you after a while you learn like okay, this spanking right here will cause the most effect and the most jiggle. If I move too far to the left and too far to the right, it won't cause the same effect, right? So it's just like a percussion, you just gotta. It takes calibration, right?
Right.
You gotta just do it.
Like she might have some kind of like a little arch. If she has a little less of an arch, you got to hit it from a different angle. Otherwise, it won't make as much of a.
If I hit it here,
sound.
she gives me this vocal tonation. If I hit it there, she gives me that. And you need to tune a bit.
And the smack sound, it's kind of, it'll be a bit higher pitched right here, and then,
Well, let's not talk about smack in the face then.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Let's see. Dark Knight Dev member for 9 months. I typically take guitar and salsa lessons in Manhattan. It's about $220 a month. Like, I am surprised by how expensive these lessons are in the States.
It's like 70. It's like 70 for one piano lesson.
Man,
Jack, they do it right in the States, I think.
That is true. That is true. I mean, my friends were surprised by my coaching prices. They were like, "How much?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What?" Like, it's completely different in Europe.
Well, it's more like what you put into it, like the dedication, and the teacher's just trying to show you the way. So I think it's worth it. I mean, but I'm biased, so.
Let's see. And sorry, it's about $220 a month, and it takes some patience. Have some social hobbies. It helps with girls. Yeah, it does. Oh, it does.
That brings up another topic that I wanted to bring up, Jack.
So
before you get into a hobby, think about the crowd and the fans of that hobby, and if you want to interact with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you I like anime, but I also like people that take showers. So I got to really think before going to an anime con, do I want to go there, right? I
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like
I like working out, but I don't like talking about working out all the time. So do I want to interact with people whose whole personality is talking about getting jacked? Like You know what I'm saying? Like, there's hobbies that you're just gonna have to enjoy by yourself because the fans of that hobby just suck that much. Red Pill is the number one example of this.
Yep.
I
Beat me
love talking
to it.
about Red Pill online, but if someone comes up to me and says, "Do you know what hypergamy is?" I'm just like, "No,
No. No.
what are you talking about?" It literally
What
happened to me last year,
hypergamy?
and I was.
I mean, the manosphere and the fitness industry are very much alike. They really
Somebody talked to me about Andrew Tate, and I'm like, I don't know who the hell you're talking about, man.
are.
Somebody
I
brought
had
up.
I had a girl on a dating app once. To like, what was it? We were talking about something. She's like, "Oh, how does the meme go? What color is your Bugatti?" It's like,
Oh my god! Please, can we not discuss this? I'd rather talk about something else.
Like, I dried up. Completely. No.
It's like it's
No,
all
I
so
dried up.
tiresome.
No, but it's like the same. Like, I've been to like Lego fairs with Watson, and it's like, yeah, immediately as soon as you walk in, I'm the best. I'm the guy who's in the best of shape.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm in the best shape in that whole fucking fair. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
I went to
You-
the anime.
yeah.
I went to the anime rave dressed as Luffy, shirtless, and I had a female Luffy follow me through the whole thing. But
Nice.
here's what I liked, that I was out of place, right? I'm an older dude, right? So I just stood in the corner and just watched people enjoy and having fun. But you know what? Also, it's just like, look at these young people having fun. Just there's a DJ playing music, and they're just dressed up as zany characters, and they're just having a good time. And it made me feel good. I'm like, I'm happy that these people are enjoying themselves, right? And I went around and I took pictures with everyone. If I didn't know someone's character, hey, explain it. What character is this? Oh, this is this
that's
from
so
this.
good.
Yeah, and they're just like, and they open up, and it's just like, it's nice to see the light. How, because there's certain communities that don't have a lot of like, they're not popular, they're not cool, they're just still seen as the nerdy kind of. And then when you're younger, you don't have that kind of like confidence to be like, yeah, I fucking like this. What's the problem? They're like, I like anime, but I know it's nerdy, so I'm just gonna become a nerd because that's what I am. But when you talk to them like a normal person, and just their eyes light up, and you realize too that a lot of the females that get into certain male hobbies are just there for the attention and to like, farm followers for different apps, which we will not discuss. But yeah,
Dude, even
That's
the
where-
Pokemon community has that. I was so fucking surprised. There's this guy I follow, Opossum Bud, and all of a sudden he had a video about some beef that was going on, and apparently there was this chick in the fucking Pokemon collectors community who has a 50 cent per month OnlyFans. And yes, there is explicit content on there where it's like, is nothing sacred? Is nothing sacred to these women?
It's
No.
it's funny too that a lot of girls go to college because they want to find a husband. That was interesting to find out.
The
Wait,
MRS degree.
Oh
Is
yeah,
what they
yeah,
call it.
yeah. The MRS degree.
Are you
I like
saying
that.
women don't actually go to college to learn?
I don't think women actually learn.
Not learning what you think they do.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Are you saying women are stupid? So what you're saying is, come on,
Yeah.
guys, lighten up.
and then there's gonna be communities that are like awesome, like,
Oh yeah.
but most of the time they're not. So just be careful. Like, I think also within each community, you just gotta find the best people, right? Like, if you like
Yeah.
D&D,
Yeah.
if you like D&D, I mean, you gotta scour the internet for some good D&D people,
Cappy made a whole video on that. Why the D&D community is no longer worth it. But like, it's in everything. I mean, Nuke, that's how you and I connected mostly on anime. But like, we're not dweebs. That's the biggest difference. We're not.
Yeah,
fucking dweebs.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh yeah, no. I know you are. I know you are. I know you are.
Stop, dude. Stop. But the thing is that, like, for example, like, I could sit down and talk about, let's say I just finished Jujutsu Kaisen, right? But the person that would also talk to me about that stuff would be like 25 years old, right? 24 years old. And I'm like a veteran, hardened by life, red pill content creator. Like, we're not going to have much to talk about. I mean, I'm probably going to like focus on what we're like the hobby. But like other than that, after the con is done or whatever, it's like, okay, have a nice day. We have nothing in common besides this, you know. So
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Go ahead, Dave.
No, it is really hard to relate because like I've gone to some video game conventions or like like tournaments for video games, and unfortunately, a lot of these young guys, it's really hard to relate to them now. Like as I gotten older, like now versus then, I just what do you talk about beyond beyond the video game? There really isn't that as much to relate to, and frankly, a lot of them are kind of annoying. Like they're really high energy. I don't get any of their jokes.
Scatterbrain.
I feel like two of my teammates were like 14 years old. They're with their dad. I'm like, this is so awkward. Like I have an easier time talking to their father than I do them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Dude, the rhythm game community is about the same thing. It's like think of a mix between anime and video games, combine them into one with that same scatterbrain nonsense, and you can't make conversation with them because they're really either socially awkward or they're too social. And the too social ones are the ones where when you're talking to them, you feel like you're having to walk on a minefield, basically, because if you say the wrong thing, they're the type of people that if you don't agree with their group think, they're going to spread all the information about you to get you kicked out of all the tournaments that happen later on. So it's really, it gets really annoying whenever you're not able to relate to most of them because they, they'll look for any opportunity to cancel you if you are not of their same mindset. So you go into these groups assuming not obsessing over trying to find out what their politics are.
Pretty much. Yeah, but that's what you get a lot of in video games nowadays too. The anime scene now too, where like with the voice actors, Vic Mignogna was his name.
Yeah,
I think.
Vic Mignogna, yep.
Yeah, like there's a lot of social justice warrior crap going on around there right now. Even like of all the goddamn things, even the Lego community has that fucking bullshit. Where it's like, I mean, they made like
they even squeeze themselves in there. They're like, we can be woke too.
Yeah, no, we can be woke
with our plastic bricks.
It's like, God damn it, man! What they're doing is they're making like masculine roles. They're putting females in that, and all the guys they have in there, they make the serious faces all go to the women, and like the derpy faces all go to the men. That kind of shit, and it's like, well, we support the gender inclusivity month and whatever garbage. Like, can you just fuck off and build fucking cool castles and pirate ships? Thank you. That would be amazing. It
gets kind of sad too, because I did go to an anime kind of like rave up the street here in Dallas, and it was fun. Like I had a good time, and I went as a house husband, Tatsu from House Husband, right? Which simple. It's just you wear a black suit, button-up shirt, you wear the Shiba Inu thing that I bought, and I had a cigarette the whole night. I'm like, now I have an excuse to smoke a cigarette. This is awesome. And then I had shades, so the lights wouldn't bother me. Like, this is the perfect cosplay for an old, tired dude like me. This is awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right, you guys should consider it if you ever want to cosplay. And also, it's good because you wouldn't have to get bombarded by people asking, "Oh, can I take a picture?" Or "Who are you? Who are you?" Like you kind of had that little piece where you're in the corner, just like, now I could see everyone just be weird and wild, and I could just relax. But people would still go up to me, and this one guy came up to me, and he's like, "Hey, house husband, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's like, and I'm like, "You have to talk, dude. Like, you have to say hello, like, shake my hand, like, say what's up, bro. Like, how you enjoying your night? Like, talk to me." And then you turn the corner, and you see the hierarchy of women too, which is hilarious because there's always these one or two hot like chicks that are probably paid to be there, that are just like perfect body, like they could be a model for like literally anything, right? And they're quiet, they're surrounded by like three dudes, and then you go down the line, there's girls that are just like especially the Mitsuri cosplays. They go down the line and it gets more and more unattractive. And then they float around more, looking for more attention, looking to talk to more guys and be more in the way because they just need that attention. It's a microcosm, right? Mm-hmm. So interacting with these people on my hobbies is just entertainment in itself. But it is sad that you don't get, like, you wish you could find someone like you that is a normal person. Like, and when I say normal, I mean that loosely. That just like, hey, dude, you like this anime? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool, dude. Hey, do you have a job? Yeah. Do you use weird words to talk to people? No, I'm a normal person. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Like, we just became friends. All right, but it never like that.
The art scene is like that too. So when I went to 2 art fairs this month, last month, and most of them the girls are hot, by the way. Chicks are hot in art fairs, like perfect. The guys are all either gay or effeminate or kind of in their head.
Or they got dragged there by their wives. I have an ex who was in the art scene, and her mom was in the art scene, and her dad was kind of like,
I'd say if a girl drags you into an art fair, you're pretty lucky because the babes are worth it. So I think it's equal as far as that goes. But like, these girls are really well dressed, they're really looking hot, and these guys are like wearing super loose clothing. They're kind of feminine the way they behave, and so it's like it's hard to find a friend there. So you have to talk to the girls. That's all you're left with if you want to be social in that scene. Yeah, it says oh no, if I must engage, but that's the thing.
There was one time where, when was it? This is years ago. I had a girlfriend who did a fashion show, and I got brought with. And I mean, I'm a bit of a barbarian when it comes to that stuff. And at a certain point, I just walked to the hors d'oeuvres, and there was this other guy just standing there awkwardly. Blah blah blah. I didn't know what to do, what attitude to have. And I look at him, I'm like, hey, girlfriend dragged you here? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, come sit with me. You'll be fine. We just talked about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about this either. But, you want to show support. He's like, yeah, no, I know. But it's like, I don't know who to talk to. It's like,
it's fine. Like,
it's fine.
You'll be surprised that people with quote unquote feminine interests are actually pretty interesting. What bothers me is that it's hard to find somebody that could relate to you outside of that space. So, for example, if it's art, you're gonna talk about art. That's all you're gonna talk about. But after that, it's like they're gonna do their thing and you're gonna do your thing. So
yeah, pretty much. There was one thing I wanted to discuss, and that is like, how do you really afford your hobbies? No, honesty. I mean, people know this. I have a small PSA 10 trading card collection, but I didn't buy any of those before I was at least able to buy that 3 times. That's the golden rule I have for myself. Like, if I want to buy myself something nice or something completely useless other than I like this, I need to be able to buy it at least 3 times. How do you guys go about that? And then we'll just go around the panel and then we'll wrap it up. Dave?
Jack, can you repeat that question? I was coughing.
No, that's okay. So I have this golden rule for myself. I don't buy anything for myself unless I can buy it 3 times before I buy it the once, kind of say. Like, yeah, it's like, if I have the amount that I need for this thing 3 times, I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'll just won't do it. How do you guys go about that when affording these things for your hobbies? And we'll just go around the panel, like Dave, Dante, Nuke, then Gov. Go ahead, Dave.
I don't necessarily have like any hard rules as far as like when I'm going to buy or when I'm not going to buy certain things. I think for me, I think it's just trying to avoid sort of like emotional buying, like, oh, I really want it, and like in that moment, like just taking a step just taking time to like step back and make sure, like, hey, am I really going to use it? Am I really like going to play especially with like video games, especially for me, that's probably my biggest thing. Like, am I going to play this game? Like, do I have time to play this game? Am I willing to like give up? Because a lot of it comes down to time. Or like, do I have the time to actually enjoy it? and then just from there, just deciding, all right, I have the money. Usually, like, money isn't a huge issue for me because I don't like have a lot. The life decisions I made allow me to focus on myself rather than other people, other commitments. So that's not a huge thing, but just making sure I'm actually going to use it.
Nice. Dante, how do you go about it?
Well, for me, it's because the issue with being young is that you don't know what you want, and the reason I prioritize like tasting everything I could at, like I said in the beginning, before I figured out how much money I needed to make, is because I didn't know. So that was what I did. I just tasted a bunch of things and then figured out, okay, if I want to invest in these hobbies, this is how much I need to make per month, and that's how I figured out. Okay, then I'm gonna need to get a better job. So that's how I think about it, and I think that's a more natural progression, because I think it's too much to expect. It's too much to expect a guy to figure out what he wants at this stage, at least for me. But that's just me.
Interesting. Nuke, go ahead.
Well, there's just 3 questions. Do I have the time to enjoy it? Will it bring me joy? And can I afford it? And affording means different things to different people. But for me, those are the 3 questions, right? I could totally buy myself a new book of sheet music or something from like Hans Zimmer or from Final Fantasy. I could totally get myself a new game. I could totally my new console. I could do all these things, right? But then I have to take a look at my life. Do I have any big projects at work? Should I prioritize my streaming that I do? Do I have is Tadashi being walked every day in the morning, in the afternoon? Like, am I taking care of things I got to take care of? Right. If I feel like life is getting really busy or I'm just overwhelmed, then hobbies can wait. I don't need that new hobby. I'll just enjoy what I have for now. And then when there's nothing nicer than after you get done with a project or a busy time in your life, and just going to the store and buying a new video game, and you're just like, I know I have the time to enjoy this, right? Like, I get anxiety when I buy a video game and I know, like, man, I don't even know what I'm going to play this, right? It makes me feel bad. So
Yeah.
Same. Gov, go ahead.
My personal rule is I give myself time to decide if I want it well ahead of time before I get into it. Like, I'll do a little bit of research here and there and make sure it's something that I absolutely want before I just impulsively buy into it. Because if I impulsively bought into something, every single thing that I thought was cool, then I'd probably be a broke hoarder by this point. Like, you can't, yeah. I used to have made that mistake before, and where did that go? It went nowhere. So basically, once I actually do thorough research, find out that, hey, this is something I legitimately want to get into, and it's not just a ADD brain, hey, this is cool right in the very moment kind of thing, then it's actually helped out with finding out what I'm truly good at. And I feel like everybody else can do that too.
For me, like, do I have the space is a big one too. Like, do I have the space? It's like with drumming, unfortunately, at a certain point, it really became, am I going to use this? Because I don't like playing alone. But I'm still looking into an electronic drum kit where it's like, am I going to go for it? At least it will keep you busy, which is nice. But I do miss the playing together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Let's go around the panel. Where can people find you? Dave?
People can find me on my channel. It's I'll put it in the chat. Just David Andrus, or you can just search Scar Thumb Podcast. I'll come up right there. That's my main thing. I have a Twitter as well, but I rarely post on it.
Stay outside of trouble.
Yep.
Let's see. Dante?
Substack is where people find me.
Divine Comedy.
Yeah, that's where it is. That's where it's at.
Let's see. Nuke?
You guys can find me on my channel, Galileo Nuclear Shows, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Rule Zero on Saturday, Dragon Ship on Saturday. Also, I just announced that I started writing my new book. So
Sweet.
yeah, it'll be fun, aka not fun road, but I had to get it done. Too many people have been asking, so I got to do it. So,
is there a tentative title for it?
Yeah, it's called Ronin.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
And I explained in my last video why I call it that. You know, this whole like men are lost, men are blah blah blah, men have no purpose kind of bullshit that we've been getting fed. I wanted to spin that into a more dignified version of that. So Ronins are lost warriors. They don't have a master, so they just take odd jobs and kind of like do things to stay afloat. But they're still good at what they do. They just, unfortunately, they don't have a master. The master got killed or something. So I wanted to spin kind of like the lonely young men with no purpose to something cool, right? To give them a little dignity, and that's why I chose that title.
I dig it. I
Yeah.
like it. Gov.
Okay, so falling off the table. Anyway, I threw my links in the comments over there. Yeah, right there. You can find them right there. Yeah, I'll. You can find me on YouTube more. I got a lot of ideas for some content, and hopefully I can still. I'm writing them out, planning them out, and hopefully it might take a little bit more time. Got the new job starting tomorrow, so that's going to be taking up a bit of the time, that I would be writing up this content otherwise. But it's coming, and it's going to be awesome. So I'll put it that way. No details just yet, but
nice, cool. There's Dave's channel. I put all the links to the guys in the description of this video as well. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Hit the like. Comment down below your thoughts of this show. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to support the channel, you can click the join button. Get my version of the Book of Book audiobook for free. That's it from us, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Bye.